Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers stop and ID laws, profanity, and the Supremacy Clause, and is brought to us by the Random Patriots channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On March 22nd, 2024, independent journalist Justin McHenry, who owns the Random Patriot YouTube channel, visited the Clinton Police Department in Clinton, Arkansas, and began to film in the parking lot. He was eventually confronted by Lieutenant Scott Solomon of the Clinton PD, who was later joined by Van Buren County Sheriff Eric Coons. Mr. McHenry filmed the encounter that ensued and shared it on his YouTube channel.
Let's see what we got here. Look at this. This small town of Clinton, what do they got, like 2,500 people? They have dash cams. And then you go to bigger towns like Sherwood. Has like 10 times the people. They do not have dash cams in their freaking cars. Oh, we got a spit bottle in here. Heck yeah, brother. Public property. Public property. Neither is this, but dude's parking right up under. No personal property tag, but they're parked right up under here. I wonder what's that about. Is this your personal vehicle? How come you're parked up under here?
Because I rent that space and have a salon here. Why are you videoing cars out here?
Is this the police station?
Yes.
So you have a salon on the same building as the police station?
Who are you?
Is that what's happening? Who are you, lady?
How about you talk to the owner of the building?
Oh, I don't care. I'll talk to whoever.
Right.
So this is half police station, half beauty salon?
There's multiple renters inside here.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what are we doing?
Cool, man. I'm working on a story.
For
Who are you?
I'm the owner.
You're the owner of the building?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't work for the police station, you just own the building and the
Right.
police station is renting a spot out from you?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if the police station is renting a spot out from you, then that makes this public property. So I'm just working on a story in public property is what I'm doing.
For what though?
Working on a story. Like, what does anyone work on stories for?
But what's the story for?
Oh, I can't tell you that. You'll just have to wait till it's published. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Go ahead, I guess.
Yep. Thanks, man. Oh, bro, left his computer on. His dash is still saying like it's on right now. It's interesting. What's up, dude? Is this, I think this car's left on.
Lieutenant Scott Sullivan's call.
Oh, cool. I think you left your car on, brother.
No, my car's off.
Oh, the dash is blinking stuff. Does it just do that all day?
It does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lieutenant Sullivan, Police Department. What's your name?
Cool. I'm Justin. Nice to meet you, man.
Did you have somebody I can say?
No, sir. I don't.
No. Arkansas is one of the 15 ID states, so Joe Biden.
There is no way you believe that. All right. Since you're starting off this way, do you have somewhere higher than you? Because I promise you that's not correct, and you're going to get your whole town into a lawsuit. And I don't want to go that way. I've been having a great day. You don't want to go that way either.
But if you just tell me your name.
I'm not telling you my name. I'll tell you my first name, and we're stopping there, and I'm not answering any more questions. If you want to ID me unlawfully, you're going to lose your job and your qualified immunity.
Can I ask you what you're doing?
I'm working on a story.
For who are you with?
I'm an independent journalist. What's your name?
Solomon, Lieutenant Solomon.
Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Do not think, there is no such thing as a stop and ID state. There is no such thing. That is a term.
Okay.
That is a...
Let me explain something to you. Can I explain something
I'll listen to you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. This day and time, there's all sorts of things going on.
This day and time is a terrible thing because we're in one of the most safest times to date in world history. Tell me a safer time in world history than right now.
Okay.
So,
Well,
don't say in this day and time, because cops always say that and it's stupid. Okay. So you can start over though if you want to.
Let me just put it like this.
Yep.
You know, if we see somebody looking at our police cars,
come talk to me, sure. But don't threaten to arrest me if I don't give you my ID.
I didn't threaten to arrest
you. Just did, brother.
I just said Arkansas is one of the 15 ID states.
That's not correct.
A demand or request.
Nope, that's not correct.
Provide some identified
Get a lawyer out here. If you think that's true, you need to look into it because you're going to get yourself in trouble. That is not true, and I'm 1,000% positive, and I can show you case law and Supreme Court rulings and everything.
More or less, we're just concerned about what you're doing.
Well, do not think that you can just stop and ID anyone you want. You're going to get yourself in trouble, and you're non-constitutional. You are unconstitutional.
Well, with what's going on, I mean, it's
you are no.
ask.
If you think you can do that,
Yeah,
you don't believe in the Fourth Amendment. If you think you can do that, no. This is important to everybody that you know the Fourth Amendment. What is it?
Sure, I know it.
So what is
Everybody
it?
know it.
What is it?
The right of freedom.
No way you
of
just
free
said that.
speech.
No, that's the First Amendment.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. The First Amendment.
No, the First
Everybody has the right
bro.
to free
What's the
speech.
Fourth Amendment?
Okay. All right. Just
Oh my God, dude! And you're a lieutenant? Is your chief here?
no, he's off.
We need someone to teach you what the Fourth Amendment
I know what the
is.
Fourth Amendment
What
is.
is it?
My question is,
What
do
is
you
the
just,
no?
what you're
Okay.
doing
What's the
and-
5 elements of the
know,
First Amendment? There's
just-
5
we
elements.
just had some
There's 5
concern.
elements of the First
I have some
Amendment.
questions for you.
No, I have some concerns and questions for you.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead. And
What are they, sir? What's the Fourth Amendment? You don't know any of it.
If you don't
You
wanna
need to
talk-
go study the Constitution, and until you do, don't say a word to me, please. Go back inside, look up the Constitution, and read those rights and learn them. Memorize them, then come out. Other than that, you don't know what you're doing or what you're talking about, and you don't need to be a lieutenant. And I'm sorry I'm getting mad, but that is ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourself for not knowing the First or the Fourth. Walk of shame right there, and it's deserved.
Lieutenant Solomon claims that he can demand identification because Arkansas is a stop and ID state, and Mr. McHenry argues that the Fourth Amendment prohibits officers from stopping and identifying anyone they want. As we have discussed before here on ATA, the Supreme Court held in the 1979 case of Brown versus Texas that officers requiring individuals to identify themselves absent reasonable suspicion to believe they are engaged in criminal conduct violates the Fourth Amendment. Although the Supreme Court also determined in the 2004 case of Hybel versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada that a citizen may be arrested for refusing to identify themselves in violation of a so-called stop and identify statute, the court clarified that the Fourth Amendment requires that officers have reasonable suspicion in order to demand an identification or arrest a citizen for failure to identify. Now, while Arkansas does not have a statute that explicitly requires a citizen to identify themselves during a stop, courts have determined that the state obstructing statute, which is codified in Section 5-54-102 of the Arkansas Code, permits an officer to make an arrest if an individual refuses to identify themselves and the officers have individualized reasonable suspicion of illegal activity. However, in the 2008 case of Stufflebeam versus Harris, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Arkansas, concluded that the Arkansas obstruction statute does not empower an officer, now quoting, to arrest a person for refusing to identify himself when he is not suspected of other criminal activity, and his identification is not needed to protect officer safety or to resolve whatever reasonable suspicions prompted the officer to initiate an ongoing traffic stop or Terry stop. Accordingly, without reasonable suspicion that Mr. McHenry was involved in illegal conduct, a court would almost certainly conclude that while Lieutenant Solomon would be within his authority to request that Mr. McHenry identify himself, he could not demand identification from him under threat of arrest.
Oh, they're locking me out? Lieutenant Solomon, you're opening your city up for a lawsuit by allowing this door to be locked because of me. You're not allowed to pick and choose who comes in here. So either you lock it to everybody for the rest of the day, or you're opening yourself up for a lawsuit. And you better have a good reason for having it locked the rest of the day, not just because there's a guy with a camera. So you better open this door and let me come in and we can get this over with. Why are you guys so scared of someone with a camera? What are you hiding? You should be welcoming me in here, showing me around, making yourself look good, making your town look good. Let's start over. Do you want to let me in and just show me around and have a pleasant conversation so we can change this? I'm willing to start over with y'all. All right, I gave you a chance. I'm honestly not going to waste my time in this stupid little hallway. This lady right here. Uh-oh, they're sending the sheriff out here. The sheriff showed up.
Hello, sir. How are you?
What's up, guys?
Good.
All right, I can come in now. They weren't letting me in a minute ago. You know, that's a lawsuit if I wanted to. I don't want to. I'm literally just trying to have a pleasant time here in Clinton. That's it. But here we have. What's your name, sir?
I'm Sheriff Eric Haynes.
Oh, you're the sheriff.
County. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Justin.
Good mix, Justin.
So why'd they send the sheriff down here for a guy with a camera?
Nobody sent the sheriff.
They-
We all monitor the radio traffic.
Hey, dude.
If
Hey,
we
hold
get a
on. Before
call-
you lie on camera.
If we get a call over the radio.
No, I heard them call the sheriff
If
down
we-
here. I heard them on. I have them on video calling the sheriff down here.
Anyway, yeah, you're in here causing a problem.
No, I'm exercising my rights.
Yeah, but if it becomes disorderly.
I told you my
then
name's
you're-
Justin
then
like
you're
6
being
times,
disorderly.
dude.
I have a right to ask you last
Okay.
You can ask, and I don't have to tell you.
Okay.
You have to have reasonable or you have to have.
That's lottery.
No, you're not. You have to have reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime.
You're on private property looking at people's
Again,
windows.
if you cause
No,
a
this is
disturbance-
public. This is public
If
property.
you cause a disturbance,
This is
then
public
you can
property.
be charged
Right,
with
back to the
disorderly
car.
conduct.
Were you parking your cop cars back there?
As long as
Then
you're
it's public.
civil, as
It's
long as
public.
you're civil, there's not a problem.
I'm civil, brother.
That's what I'm saying. But if it did become disorderly, then you could be charged with disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
But until then,
Don't-
as long as you're
You
civil,
were also looking at private
everything's
vehicles back
good.
there too, because we.
I can look at anything I can see from public. You can't trespass my eyes.
It's private property back
That's
there.
public.
Other
If you
police
park your cars
back
back there, that's public.
The other cars are not
And
public.
even if it was private, I have to be trespassed before I've committed a crime. So no one in here knows what the hell they're talking about. This is getting crazy.
Mr. McHenry argues that the parking lot is public property because the officers park their vehicles there, and that even if it is private property, he has to be trespassed before he can be considered to have committed a crime. Although the government's lease on private property gives it the right to use the property according to the terms of the lease, actual ownership does not transfer, and the property will remain privately owned. Nonetheless, the nature of its use by the government can impose certain obligations, regulations, and access rights that might not otherwise apply to purely private property. For instance, if the property is used for public services, certain areas might be accessible to the public, despite the fact that the underlying ownership remains private. Under the state trespassing statute, a more pertinent issue than the public or private ownership of the property is whether or not the property is quote-unquote open to the public. According to Section 5-39-203 of the Arkansas Code, quote, a person commits criminal trespass if he or she purposely enters or remains unlawfully in or upon the premises owned or leased by another person. However, the statute also explicitly states that, quote, it is a defense to prosecution under this section that the privately owned premises were made open to the public. According to Section 3904 of the Arkansas Model Jury Instructions, quote, enter or remain unlawfully means to enter or remain in or upon premises when not licensed or privileged to do so. A person who enters or remains in or upon premises that are at the time open to the public does so with license and privilege, regardless of his purpose, unless he defies a lawful order not to enter or remain, personally communicated to him by the owner of such premises or some other person authorized by the owner. In other words, when property is open to the public, an individual cannot be convicted of trespassing unless they have been previously warned not to enter the property, or if they refuse to leave after being lawfully ordered to do so. As such, Mr. McHenry is correct in his assertion that he could not be suspected of trespassing when he had not been asked not to enter or remain on the property.
He said that he can make me ID just because he wants to. That is mind-blowing that he thinks that.
Because
He doesn't know what
because
the...
we don't know what you're doing.
I asked him what the Fourth Amendment was, and he says freedom. That's not... That's embarrassing, dude.
Searches and seizures. We know what it is.
You had to go look it up after. You did, well, okay, what's the 5 elements of the First Amendment?
If you state your last name,
What's the
we have a right to ask
five
your full name.
elements? Give me 2 of them.
Okay.
We have a right to ask your full name.
Give me 2. You can ask all day, and I can tell you no.
Well, just like you said, he had to go look it up. You can sit down in your car and look up every
Dude,
amendment
I know
before
them
you
by
walk in.
heart.
That doesn't matter. It's not required
No.
by law for anybody to know it.
It is required by law. Do you and you and you
That's
and
where
you
you're
all
wrong.
sign?
That's where you're wrong.
No,
When you go to the academy, the only thing you're required to do is
Brother.
to read it, become
Did
familiar
you?
with it.
All right, I'm about to
and
own you.
know where you can
get
look
ready,
up
brother.
the laws.
Get ready.
Get ready.
You swore an oath to the Constitution when you were signed in, and I could find that on video, I bet. So you swore an oath to the Constitution.
Okay, so you were there.
No,
Now you're lying.
but that is what
See, you
all
just
police
lied.
do.
You're telling us we're lying.
No,
you're lying.
it is required.
No, you're
If
looking
you
up
didn't-
and to the right because you don't know. You're
Dude,
making it up.
Listen.
So you
didn't swear an oath. So you didn't swear an oath.
I can tell you you're being.
You can call me whatever you want.
See,
This sheriff, he does not believe in the Constitution, and he did not swear an ooth to
that's
it.
what you believe.
You're gonna have to get out.
if you continue, and
Yes,
this
ma'am.
becomes
Yes, ma'am.
disorderly, I explained to you
Yeah.
at that point it would be a disorderly conduct.
Dude, chill out. You're stupid.
Okay, you call me stupid, I call you stupid.
You don't even know that you swore an oath to the Constitution.
No, I'm not answering
You
you,
walk
is what I'm
around
doing.
thinking that you have no
I
duty
answer
to the Constitution.
the people, the residents
The
of Van Buren
Constitution.
County. Do you live
The
in Van Buren
Constitution.
County?
The
Do you live here in
Constitution.
Van Buren County?
No, I don't.
Then I don't answer to you. Have a good day, sir.
Do you get state taxes? Do you
Have
get
a good
federal
day,
taxes?
sir.
Do you get state and federal taxes?
Have a good day, sir.
So you don't know, brother.
Have a good day, sir.
You guys don't know anything here. You don't
Have a
get.
good day,
No, you
sir.
can't. That's freedom of speech. That is.
Have a good
That's
day,
freedom
sir.
of speech. You don't know the Constitution.
You obviously
What's
don't
freedom
know
of
the
speech
statute
mean?
of disorderly conduct. If you incite a riot,
If you
incite a riot,
what
which
riot am I
includes-
inciting?
Which includes any
Freedom
more,
of speech,
any
brother.
more than 2 or 3 people.
Freedom
in one
of speech.
location, Then you are.
You guys are the making the riot, then not me. I'm by myself.
Making a riot. You're the one.
I'm by
calling people
myself.
Stupid and dumb, and you're the one that's.
You guys are the ones that are supposed to know the Constitution, and I know it 10 times more than you.
Lieutenant Solomon claims that Mr. McHenry committed disorderly conduct because he used a so-called profane word, and Sheriff Coons argues that Mr. McHenry is inciting a riot. Section 5-71-207 of the Arkansas Code states that, quote, a person commits the offense of disorderly conduct if, with the purpose to cause public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, or recklessly creating a risk of public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, he or she, in a public place, uses abusive or obscene language, or makes an obscene gesture in a manner likely to provoke a violent or disorderly response. Although the statute does prohibit so-called abusive or obscene language, this does not refer to mere profanity, which the Supreme Court held in the 1971 case of Cohen versus California was protected by the First Amendment. Rather, as the Supreme Court of Arkansas determined in the 1998 case of Bailey versus State, the statute only prohibits quote-unquote fighting words, which the U.S. Supreme Court defined in the 1942 case of Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire as, quote, those which by their very utterance inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace. In the 2019 case of Torre Raja versus City of Fort Smith, the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals held in applying the Arkansas disorderly conduct statute that, quote, with limited exceptions not relevant here, even profanity is protected speech, and that, now quoting again, criticism of law enforcement officers, even with profanity, is protected speech. Accordingly, it is highly improbable that a court would conclude Mr. McHenry's use of profanity constituted disorderly conduct, as his speech was protected by the First Amendment. Additionally, contrary to Sheriff Coons' assertions, the disorderly conduct statute does not criminalize inciting a riot, although it does prohibit citizens from congregating with 2 or more other persons in a public place and refusing to comply with a lawful order to disperse from a law enforcement officer. Section 5-71-203 of the Arkansas Code states that, quote, a person commits the offense of inciting riot if he or she knowingly, by speech or conduct, urges others to participate in a riot under circumstances that produce a clear and present danger that they will participate in a riot, or gives commands, instructions, or signals to others in furtherance of a riot. And Section 5-71-201 of the Arkansas Code defines a riot as 3 or more other people knowingly engaging in tumultuous or violent conduct that creates a substantial risk of causing public alarm, disrupting the performance of a governmental function, or damaging or injuring property or a person. It is unclear why Sheriff Coons believed that Mr. McHenry's actions constituted inciting a riot, as he was clearly not urging the officers to engage in tumultuous or violent conduct, and was simply arguing with them about the law. Therefore, it is highly unlikely that a court would determine that Mr. McHenry could be arrested for inciting a riot.
Your whole job is to uphold the Constitution.
Our whole job is to uphold the
The
state laws that are in
Constitution.
the statute.
Nope. What's more important than state laws? Federal laws.
Federal law doesn't supersede
It
state
absolutely.
law.
No way.
That's
You just
where
said
you're
that.
wrong.
No. Yes, it
That's
does.
where you're wrong.
Yes, it does. I promise
You're
you.
wrong.
If the
We
Supreme
have to
Court
enforce
if the Supreme
state
Court
laws.
says Arkansas state
City
law
and
is wrong,
state
then
laws.
it's wrong and over with. Arkansas doesn't get to say, well, we get to do whatever we
Arkansas
want.
Constitution.
You're embarrassing yourself on the internet.
No, I'm not.
You are.
No, I'm not. You're embarrassing
Say your name
yourself
again.
because you came
If
here-
you don't think you're embarrassing
you
yourself,
came
what's
here-
your name?
I won't say my name until you say yours. I already said it.
I already said it.
No, you didn't. You didn't give us your full name.
I don't have
told
to.
you my full name and who I work
Yeah,
for.
because that's your job to. It's not
That-
mine. I'm a
yeah.
private citizen. You
That's
are
right.
not.
Show me the law right now that says that I have to give you my name.
That's in your policy.
And who I am.
That's in your policy.
I'm asking you.
Give me 2 minutes and I
We
could look
wrote
it up.
We wrote the policy. It's our policy.
And then you should know it, dude. You're dismissed. How about that?
Thank you for dismissing me.
You're welcome. I'll see you later.
Maybe I will if you come see me.
God, I hope so. Because you're content. You're nothing but content.
Welcome to come visit my office anytime.
I'll be up there in a little bit. How about that?
That is wonderful.
Before you close today, I'll see you up there.
I made the sheriff's office.
Give everybody a
open
warning.
door. Yes.
Yeah, not unlike the police station. Is not open door. They locked it on me. So you're just proving how they were wrong for locking the door.
If there's a woman here by herself,
She's not. There's like 4 cops in there, dude. You're making up as you go. You're dismissed. Go back to your freaking office.
you're officially dismissed. I'm not requiring you to be here. You're free to go at any
I'm free to
time.
stay too. Go back to your office. You're dismissed.
The people of Ameren County.
Listen.
If you don't live here,
one thing you need to go
reason
home
to
knowing
sit
is
down
you
and
serve the
have a discussion with you.
Constitution, and the Constitution serves the people. You serve the Constitution.
So you come here from out of town and you go town to town and you try to do some type of a constitutional audit just to try to engage police officers. Is that what you're doing? Because you're bored.
Is that what it is?
You've got nothing better to do.
More assuming.
This is not a service to the country.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
I get thanked
embarrassing.
every single day, dude.
Genuine people that actually believe in our Constitution, it embarrasses
You don't even know what the
them.
Constitution is to believe in it.
You don't know.
You think
know.
Arkansas law supersedes the
know.
Constitution.
You
Get
don't
out of my
know.
face if you think
You do
that.
not know.
You think Arkansas law supersedes
You do
it?
not.
The Constitution is all. The Constitution is all. Nothing is over the Constitution.
So you think because a federal agent comes here and says that I'm supposed to take somebody's weapons away, that I'm supposed to enforce that because that's federal?
Does that say that in the
No,
Constitution?
absolutely
I'm
not.
saying
Absolutely not.
the
state of Arkansas
Constitution.
says we are a right
Bro.
to open carry.
Okay,
and
if
I
it
will
ever-
stand behind that
if it ever
100%,
comes to that-
and that's Arkansas Constitution.
All right. The Constitution says that the government can never take our guns away. But I was not saying the government supersedes Arkansas state law. I was saying the Constitution does. And the Constitution has the Second Amendment. You think I'm wrong by saying the Constitution supersedes Arkansas state law. That is mind-blowing and it does piss
I
me
said
off.
Arkansas Constitution. I did not say Arkansas.
So, okay.
law. So you can record your video and you can play
Same
that
thing.
back. You just lied when you said
No.
I said Arkansas law. You just lied.
I think you said law, but I'll just agree to I'll agree
You
to
need to take the
disagree.
time and review
Listen,
your
I'll
video.
agree to disagree. You said Constitution, fine. That's still wrong, brother. Arkansas Constitution does not supersede the Constitution of the United States. It does not.
Sheriff Coons argues that federal law does not supersede state law, and Mr. McHenry disagrees. Although Sheriff Coons alleges that he previously stated that federal law does not supersede the Arkansas Constitution, he did in fact claim that federal law does not supersede state law.
That's fine.
You guys don't know anything about it.
My daughter's in
Your
college.
whole
She
job,
knows it.
your whole job is to uphold the Constitution.
Our whole job is to uphold the
The
state laws that are in
Constitution.
the statute.
Nope. What's more important than state laws? Federal laws.
Federal law doesn't supersede
It
state
absolutely
law.
no way.
That's
You just
where
said
you're
that.
wrong.
No, yes it
That's
does.
Where you're wrong.
Yes it does. I promise
You're
you.
wrong.
If the
We
Supreme
have to
Court
enforce
if the Supreme
state
Court
laws.
says Arkansas state law is
City and
wrong,
state
then
laws.
it's wrong and over with. Arkansas doesn't get to say, well, we get to do whatever we
Arkansas
want.
Constitution.
You're embarrassing yourself on the internet.
No, I'm not.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Regardless of whether Sheriff Coons was talking about state statutes or the state constitution, the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution, which is found in Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution, unambiguously establishes that federal laws take precedence over state laws and constitutions. The clause states that, quote, "This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding." This means that states cannot enforce laws that violate the U.S. Constitution, and that Sheriff Coons is entirely incorrect in his assertions that federal law does not supersede state law or the state constitution.
Please say it for the camera. That it does. Because I'd love to have that on camera.
Hit for the camera.
Say Arkansas law.
Got you there.
You're-
Why are you smiling?
you are-
Dude, you're
'cause that-
smiling.
'cause that was
And
kinda
you're
funny.
almost laughing.
Because that was kind of funny.
I know, but
you're 5 years old, dude.
I
You're
know,
5 years
I'm
old.
dealing with a 5-year-old. You do realize that I wasn't called on the radio. I overheard the radio and I came down here. But here's
All right.
what you don't understand.
I'll believe whatever you say, sure.
But wait, I'm just trying to explain this to you. I came down here to
You're just
make
trying to
sure-
start an argument, dude.
No, I came
This
down
was stuff
here
from the
to
past that you
ensure
just keep
that
bringing up.
This was a peaceful conversation.
Okay.
Again, this is a city police department. When I heard disturbance at the city police department, I come down here to ensure that this would be a peaceful encounter.
And you ruined it, man. You were going to be the savior. So
I didn't
this was
ruin
going
it.
to
I
be
didn't come to be
this
the
was going to be a
savior.
perfect video of the sheriff coming down here and straightening things out, but it wasn't. It was a sheriff coming down here and looking dumber than the police officer that called the sheriff down here to begin with.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for your Second Amendment comment, you would have nothing good to say this entire time.
You're trying to serve your country by confronting police departments with a random.
It's a name, dude. Chill out.
But it's a random.
Yep, I'm a patriot.
It's not scheduled. It's a random, what you call a constitutional audit.
So, that's not all I do, but that is kind of what today is. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. But that's serving your country by trying to surprise a police department or a sheriff's office and walk in and go.
So you obviously don't know the purpose of it. My number one purpose.
And you just said when I post this.
My number one purpose is to make change. And so I'm educating the police department or the sheriff's office. I'm educating the people in that town as well.
Well, if that was your goal, and
that is my goal.
And interrupted your goal with the police department, I apologize.
That is my goal.
Okay.
Within 5 seconds, you said Arkansas supersedes federal. That is the stupidest thing a sheriff could say.
Okay, you just made a generalized statement.
What did you say then? You say it. You say it how you said it. You say it how you said it.
Arkansas Constitution.
Still wrong. That's still wrong, dude. That's wrong.
And I didn't say supersedes. I said we have to abide by.
Do you want to go back?
County,
No. You said it overrules. You're trying to say you never said it.
I didn't say that. I'm not going to say I didn't say it. I'm going to say whatever you have on video.
So will you admit? Will you do this for me? Will you admit you may be wrong and that you're going to go look into it?
I could be wrong.
And
I will research everything.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
I want you to know this, okay? I came into office in 2023. Van Buren County never had body cameras. Do you know why I got body cameras? Because I also worked at the police department and had a body camera the whole time I worked here. Body cameras prove the truth.
It saves both sides.
There you go.
Cameras prove the truth, right?
I use cameras every day, and it kept us out of lawsuits.
Cameras,
the citizens and the
because cameras don't lie.
There you go. We're just about done here, I reckon. I don't think he tried to go past the authorized.
I wouldn't.
personnel.
Nope, never would.
Again, since I took office, I made sure that we had body cameras. We've ordered in-car dash cameras. As soon as we get our equipment, we will have those installed. We've done a lot.
All right.
Since I've been in office to ensure the general public safety.
You're winning me back.
Okay.
Can I ask you one thing, and it'll really make a big difference?
Yep.
Can you demand ID just because you want to? Like, for example, right now, could you make me ID?
Only if somebody that I'm asking for their ID has committed a crime or has been suspected of committing a crime.
All right. That's another point, man. Thank you.
Because I don't need to know who you are if I think you committed a crime.
You've said more right things than wrong things, so you've won me back. I appreciate you answering those questions. I'll shake your hand if you will.
What was the first name?
Yours. I'm
Aaron.
Oh, I'm Justin.
Justin.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you need of me?
No, we're good.
I won't dismiss you. I am going to do one more little lap in that room right there. I'm obviously not going to.
And I will say before I leave, if you want to come to the sheriff's office, we are open 24 hours a day.
I will be there. Well, I'll see you up there.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
After Mr. McHenry shared this encounter on his YouTube channel, viewers and residents of Clinton reached out to the Clinton PD and filed complaints on Lieutenant Solomon. An internal investigation was opened, and on April 10, 2024, Chief J. Murdoch issued a letter of reprimand to Lieutenant Solomon, demoting him to patrol officer, reducing his pay, and placing him on 12 months of probation. Although it seems that there may have been other incidents involving Lieutenant Solomon influencing this decision. In the letter, Chief Murdoch wrote, quote, "We have spoken that you showed a lack of leadership in the position of lieutenant of the Clinton Police Department, a lack of knowledge of the current policies, even though you have signed and acknowledged that you understood and would comply with said policies, and that you failed to obey a lawfully given direct order not to use department resources for personal and familial gain." The same day as the letter of reprimand was issued, Lieutenant Solomon submitted a letter resigning from his position at the Clinton PD, indicating that he had accepted a position at an organization in Clinton, quote, "unrelated to law enforcement." It is unclear whether there have been any consequences for Sheriff Coons, or if Mr. McHenry intends to pursue legal action against the departments involved. Overall, Lieutenant Solomon and Sheriff Coons get an F for maintaining argumentative demeanors throughout the encounter, revealing a staggering lack of knowledge regarding both the U.S. Constitution and Arkansas state law, and demonstrating an inexplicable level of hostility towards Mr. McHenry's auditing activities. During his interactions with Mr. McHenry, Lieutenant Solomon claimed that he could identify anyone he wanted to because Arkansas was a stop-and-identify state, and that Mr. McHenry had committed disorderly conduct by saying the word shit. Sheriff Coons, on the other hand, argued that the U.S. Constitution did not supersede Arkansas statutes or the Arkansas Constitution, that his job was to enforce state law, not the U.S. Constitution, and that Mr. McHenry was somehow, quote-unquote, inciting a riot by arguing with several officers in a public location. Of all the encounters that we have covered on this channel, these are some of the most unintelligible and uninformed arguments I have ever heard. And the fact that they came from a lieutenant and a sheriff is simply astonishing. It's probably for the best that Lieutenant Solomon resigned from his position. And I strongly urge that Sheriff Coons educate himself on the laws and constitutions, both state and federal, that he is obligated to both enforce and comply with. Mr. McHenry gets an A for demonstrating a sound understanding of his First and Fourth Amendment rights, calling out the officers' inaccurate legal claims, and attempting to educate them on areas where they were clearly and belligerently mistaken. Although Mr. McHenry spoke in an inflamed manner at various times throughout the encounter, and he did use profanity, he remained well within his First Amendment rights and resisted the officers' attempts to unconstitutionally curtail his speech. This is actually the second encounter we have featured on ATA involving Mr. McHenry, and he also earned an A in the first interaction. I've included a link to the previous episode in the description down below, as well as a link to his channel if you would like to see more from Mr. McHenry. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.